Bing bong, bing bong, bing bong.
Hey, real gangsters. It's me, Jose Saavedra. We're gonna be talking about Mother Country.
With Anita Vang.
Don't listen to her. Anyways, we're gonna talk about Mother Country, the poem by Richard Blanco. Uh,
Hi, so we're gonna be reading Mother Country by Richard Blanco. The poem was made in 2019. Um, it was like a Mexican immigrant. He was born 1968. He's still alive, but um, so I'm just gonna be reading it to you. Mother Country by Richard Blanco. To love a country as if you lost one. 1968. My mother leaves for Cuba in America. A scene I imagine if I'm standing in her place. One foot inside a plane destined for a country she knew only as a name. A color on a map, or glossy photos from drugstore magazines, from her other foot anchored to the platform of her patria. Her hand clutched around one suitcase, taking only what she needs the most. Hand-colored photographs of her family, her wedding veil, the doorknobs over her house, a dirt jar from her backyard. Goodbye letters she won't open for years. The sorrowful drone of engine. One last deep breath of familiar air she'll take with her. One last glimpse of all she ever known. The palm trees wave goodbye as she steps on the plane. The mountains shrink from her eyes as she lifts off into another life.
it's my turn now. To love a country as if you've lost them. I hear her, once upon a time, reading picture books over my shoulder at bedtime. Both of us learning English, sounding out words as strange as the talking animals and fair-haired princes says in their pages. I taste her first attempts at macaroni and cheese, but with chorizo and peppers. And her shame over Thanksgiving turkeys always dry, but countered by her perfect pork. After a quick Google search, it's pronounced Pernell, and garlic yuca. I smell the rain of those mornings, hold as one under one umbrella, waiting for the bus to her 10-hour days at the cash register. At night, the zzz zzz of her sewing, her own blouses, quinceañera dresses for her nieces, still in Cuba, guessing at their sizes, and the gown she'd sell the neighbors to save for a rusty white sedan. No hubcaps, no air conditioning, sweating all the way through our first vacation to Florida theme parks. To love a country as if you've lost one, as if you were on a plane departing from America forever, clouds closing like curtains on your country. The last scene in which you're a madman scribbling the names of your favorite flowers, trees, and birds you'd never see again. Your address and phone number you'd never use again. The color of your father's eyes, your mother's hair, terrified you could forget these. To love a country as if, well, I was my mother last spring, hobbling, insisting I help her climb all the way up to the U.S. Capitol, as if she were here before you today, instead of me explaining her tears, cheeks pink as the cherry blossoms coloring the air that day, when she stopped, turned to me, and said, "You know, mijo, it isn't where you're born that matters. It's where you choose to die. That's your country."
So while he's grabbing this cat that's running away from him, my favorite quote from the poem.
I couldn't catch her.
Okay, my favorite quote from the quote. Wait, from the poem was, I taste her first attempts at macaroni and cheese, but with chorizo, and peppers, and her shame over Thanksgiving turkeys always dry. That's my favorite quote from the poem because, well, I mean, like, I kind of like macaroni and cheese, and in the poem it's talking about like it's her first time, making the food, like macaroni and cheese. So it's a little relatable. Jose's turn.
Alright, for my favorite quote, I'd say, well, mine makes more sense than the other one. It's, oh, I'm running out of breath. It isn't where you're born that matters, it's where you choose to die. That's your, oh, sorry, wait, let me read it again. It isn't where you're born that matters, it's where you choose to die. That's your country. That
Oh
quote
my
really,
god.
really just seems like a really nice quote. Because it makes sense. Like, it, it's a nice quote. On further elaboration, um, The quote I think is very good because it speaks about.
To give
Sorry, I've
more like
gathered some
further
time to
elaboration on
compose
why
myself.
I chose my quote, it's because
Okay, now that I've really
it
composed
relates to
myself,
me in a way on
the
how when
quote
my
is a very good quote.
grandparents
It
they
makes a
moved
lot of
here to
sense
Cali.
because
They came from Vietnamese, or they were
your
from
country isn't where you
Vietnam,
were born, technically.
escaping the
In literal
Vietnamese
sense,
War.
yes, because you were
Um,
born there,
they
but no, because you
were
don't
learning
belong there if
stuff
you don't feel like you
for
don't
the
belong
very
there.
first time,
It's where you
so
choose to die.
it's really
That's where
relatable
you belong.
towards them too.
Mostly
Since
because
they were
you
still learning
chose to die
English, they
there.
were still learning like
Well,
how to
unless you're
make
like out of
certain
war or
foods,
something like
the
that,
proper like
in which case you didn't really choose to die there.
just
But
learning
as the
how to
quote
do
says,
stuff
it's where you choose to die.
correctly, quote unquote,
That's where you're from.
here.
Because that's where you feel most at home. As for the analysis of the poem, to sum it up, it's basically a poem about a mother and a son coming to a new country. And I think the deeper meaning of the poem is to show how being an immigrant also comes with the mother learning with the child. Like, it's not the mom just teaching the child things, the mom is learning things with the child. You know?
So in a way, this kind of relates to like the poem relates to us learning things for the first times because, well, let's say that like COVID, right? We were never really on computers. So it was our first time, like even the teacher's first time doing Zoom meetings, getting everything like ready, waking up really early in the morning to just to get on a computer for like maybe 4 or 5 hours, who knows what, just to say like a few words, and then, it was a little hard. Like it was hard for both students and like the teacher because, well, personally, I had a really hard time from it because, well, I'm not an online like person. I don't learn from online. I'm a more physical person. That's how I learn.
To add on to the whole COVID experience thing, I will say, uh, for me, I can't really speak much on it because I slept a lot of the classes. But in all fairness, while I was still there, a lot of the teachers were struggling really bad trying to get used to the whole thing. I mean, it doesn't just apply to COVID as well. It applies to my parents as well, because my parents are technically immigrants. Um, they do struggle at times. Like whenever I was in elementary, when I would get help from them for like homework, like if I struggle on a homework assignment, they would most likely also struggle with me. So yeah, it would be like a learning experience for the both of us. It was funny though, and it was fun because we were both learning. Albeit it really did not help. Oh look, someone's here. Mia, my kitty, she has arrived. I was trying to get her earlier. Come here, Mia. Say hi.
Oh,
Say hi.
Mia.
Say hi. Say hi. Say hi to the camera. Oh, and then she jumped off the bed. Okay. Well, yeah.
Okay, so since we're just like we did everything already, so we're just gonna read facts about the author Richard Blanco. Um, Richard Blanco was born February 15th, 1968, and he's still alive. um, I was really surprised because I mean like he's probably really old.
My dad's born in 1962.
Oh my, Papa's born in 1962.
Yeah.
He's ancient.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, he's an American poet. He was a public speaker, author, and a civil engineer. Um, so apparently he was the first immigrant, the first Latino one that was openly gay. This is like, this is like, this is beyond.
The first openly gay Latino poet.
Yeah, there you go. And at the time, he was the youngest person to be the U.S. inaugural poet. I don't know what that means, but yeah. Um, we have a minute, 30 seconds. Anyways, well, he was a professor, having to teach at Georgetown University, American University, Central Connecticut State University, Wesleyan University. Oh my God, he teaches at a lot. Wentworth Institute of Technology, Carlo University and the current at Florida International University. Oh wow. His passion is poetry teaching to all ages, including grade school to nursing homes and like diverse writer workshops. And yeah, he's really like passionate about just like poets, poetry and everything. He's he's balling in life. I don't know how to say, but yeah, he's really good at his job. I'm so proud of him. Yay.